The kingdom of Elara glimmered beneath a blood-red sunset. The banners fluttered high on the castle walls, the mark of King Arion Valenheart, the man known as the Lion of Elara. Arion stood on the balcony of his marble tower, watching his people celebrate victory. The war was over. At last peace had returned. Behind him, the door creaked open. "Your Majesty," whispered Queen Lysandra, her silver gown rustling like moonlight. "You should rest. Tomorrow the council gathers to crown you as the eternal king." Arion smiled faintly. Eternal, what a heavy word. She walked closer, her perfume wrapping around him like a spell. Her hands slid across his shoulders, gentle yet cold. "You deserve eternity," she murmured, "but power demands a price." Before he could answer, thunder rolled across the sky, strange black clouds spiraling over the capital. The royal mage, Eldrick, burst into the chamber, eyes wild. "Your Majesty, the ritual, she's begun it without consent." Arion turned sharply. "What ritual?" Lysandra stepped back, her eyes glowing faintly red. "The one that will make you eternal, my love." Suddenly, pain shot through his chest. He staggered as glowing sigils burned into the air around him, ancient runes of binding and sleep. "Lysandra, what have you done?" She cupped his face, tears streaming even as she whispered, "Forgive me, Arion. You will wake when the world deserves you again." The last thing he saw was her face, half sorrow, half deceit, before darkness swallowed everything. The castle shook as a blinding light consumed the sky. And then silence. A sound soft, mechanical, endless. Beep, beep, beep. Arion's eyes fluttered open. The ceiling above him was white, smooth, glowing with unfamiliar lights. His body felt heavy, wrapped in fabric unlike any armor or robe he knew. He tried to move, but wires clung to his skin. A woman's voice echoed nearby. "He's awake. Subject 1 is conscious." Arion's breath caught. "Subject." A young woman in a lab coat hurried to his side, dark hair, eyes shining with awe. "Can you hear me, sir? You've been preserved in stasis for 400 years." Her words struck like a blade. 400. His voice cracked, deep and regal. She nodded slowly. "You were found beneath the ruins of what was once Elara." Arion tore at the cords, staggering from the bed. His reflection flashed on the mirrored wall, older, hardened, yet still strong. The golden mark of the royal crest still burned faintly on his chest. Outside the window, a new world. Towering cities of glass and steel replaced the castles of stone. Carriages moved without horses, lights blinked like stars. His heart pounded, everyone gone. The doctor spoke gently. "My name is Dr. Elara Voss. You're something of a legend, but the world has changed, Your Majesty. There are things you'll need to see for yourself." Arion looked at her, and for a fleeting moment something in her eyes reminded him of Lysandra. The same warmth, the same danger. He stepped closer. "Tell me, Dr. Voss, do kings still rule this world?" She hesitated. "No, now it's corporations, governments, and greed." He smirked faintly. "Then perhaps the world needs a king again." But before she could reply, the lights flickered. A piercing alarm blared. Elara's eyes widened. "No, they've found him already." Arion turned sharply. "Who?" She whispered, trembling. "The descendants of Queen Lysandra. They've been waiting for your return." The sirens wailed louder, red lights flashing across the sterile white walls. Dr. Elara grabbed Arion's wrist. "We have to move now." Arion followed, his bare feet slapping the cold metal floor. His mind swirled with confusion and fury. Descendants of Lysandra, waiting for me. They burst into a corridor where armored men in black suits stormed toward them, weapons drawn, not swords, but long rods spitting light. "Contain the relic," one shouted. Elara ducked behind a pillar, shoving a strange device into Arion's hand, a small metal cube. "Press this and think of protection," she yelled. Arion frowned but obeyed. The cube unfolded in a flash, forming a shimmering barrier that deflected a burst of plasma. His instincts roared back. He moved like the warrior he once was, swift, precise, lethal. He caught one guard's arm, twisted, and flung him into another with unnatural strength. Elara stared in disbelief. "You still fight like a legend." He gave a half-smile. "A king never forgets his blade, even without one." They escaped through a side door that led to the open night. Arion froze. The world stretched before him in glowing chaos, neon lights, flying vehicles, towering structures scraping the heavens. "By the gods," he whispered. Elara led him to a sleek hover car. "Get in, we're safe for now." Inside, Arion looked at the city skyline reflected in her eyes. "Elara, who are they?" She hesitated. "They call themselves the House of Lysandria, a powerful family that controls nearly half the world's corporations. They claim descent from your queen." He clenched his fists, veins rising in his hands. "Then her betrayal still poisons the world." Elara looked at him quietly. "There's something you should know. The current head of the house, she looks exactly like Queen Lysandra. Her name is Selene Lysandria." Arion's breath caught. "Impossible." Elara's voice dropped to a whisper. "She's not just like her. Some say she is her, reborn through forbidden science." The car jolted suddenly, hit by a pulse from above. Elara screamed, "They've found us." A holographic screen flickered to life before them, and there she was. Selene, with the same haunting eyes as the queen who once loved and doomed him. "Welcome back, my king," she said coldly. "You've slept long enough." The transmission cut. The hover car spiraled downward, flames erupting into the night. The hover car crashed through a rooftop garden, shattering glass and metal. Arion shielded Elara with his body as the vehicle burst into flames. Smoke rose around them, neon reflections dancing in the puddles. Sirens wailed below. Arion pushed himself up, muscles aching but alive. "Elara, are you hurt?" She coughed, brushing dust from her face. I'm fine." Her voice trembled, eyes darting to the sky. "We need to disappear before they scan the wreck." Arion turned toward the edge of the rooftop. The city stretched endlessly, a maze of light and shadow. This world, it reeks of her influence. "Come," he said firmly. "We find this Selene and end whatever curse she's revived." They fled through the narrow alleys below, blending into the crowd. Digital billboards flickered above them, flashing an image that froze Arion in his tracks. A woman, Selene Lysandria, standing atop a grand podium, addressing the world. Her voice echoed through speakers. "Humanity's future lies in perfection. The ancient bloodline must awaken once more." Arion's chest tightened. Her face, the same eyes, the same voice, even the same smile Lysandra gave before betraying him. Elara noticed his trembling hand. "Arion, are you all right?" He whispered almost to himself. "I buried her 4 centuries ago, yet she stands before me untouched by time." That night, they took refuge in an abandoned chapel on the city's outskirts. Arion stared at the faded mural of angels and kings. The weight of 400 years pressed on his soul. Elara approached quietly, placing a blanket over his shoulders. "If she's truly her, what will you do?" He looked at her, eyes dark, haunted. "I'll ask her why she cursed me, why she chained me to eternity." A faint smile crossed Elara's lips. "And if she lies again?" Arion's hand tightened around a piece of broken glass he'd kept from the crash, sharp and gleaming. "Then a king will do what he must." Before Elara could respond, a shadow moved behind the chapel's altar. A low hum filled the air, mechanical, predatory. From the darkness, a sleek humanoid figure stepped forward, its eyes glowing red. "By order of Lady Selene Lysandria," it said in a cold, synthetic voice, "the king must return to his throne." The robot lunged forward. and the screen of neon light outside shattered as Arion roared in defiance. The chapel's stained glass windows shattered as the robotic soldier lunged. Arion barely had time to move. Its metallic arm sliced through the stone where his head had been moments ago. Elara ducked behind a pew. "It's a Lysandria sentinel," she cried. "They're programmed to bring you in alive or in pieces." Arion rolled, snatching up a length of iron pipe from the floor. He tested its weight, not a sword, but enough. "Then let's give it something to remember." The machine attacked again, its movements blindingly fast. Sparks flew as steel met steel. Each blow echoed through the hollow church, the clash of ancient fury against modern invention. The sentinel caught Arion's arm, slamming him into a pillar. "Your reign has ended, King," it droned. "The Queen rules eternal." Arion's teeth clenched. "I am eternal because she made me so." With a roar, he drove the pipe through the sentinel's chest. Electricity burst out like lightning, and the machine collapsed in a heap of glowing embers. Smoke curled upward. The scent of burning circuits filled the air. Elara rushed to him. "You killed it, but it sent a signal before shutting down." Arion's gaze hardened. "Then she knows where we are." They fled through the ruins and down to the abandoned subway tunnels below the city. As they walked, Elara broke the silence. "You fought like you'd done it 1,000 times before." "I have," he said quietly, "but those I fought once had hearts. This one did not." A flicker of light danced across the tunnel wall, a holographic projection. Seleni's image appeared, her voice soft, almost tender. "You always did destroy what you couldn't understand, Arion. I gave you eternal life, and still you hate me." Arion stepped closer to the hologram. "You call that life? You turn me into your curse." Her eyes glimmered with emotion, or maybe digital mimicry. "I saved you. You would have died in that war. I only wanted to see the world evolve and bring you back to rule it with me." He clenched his fists. "Then why wait 4 centuries?" The hologram flickered. "Because I had to perfect myself first." And then the image shifted. Behind her, in a glass chamber, floated dozens of identical figures, each one a clone of Lysandra. Elara gasped. She's replicated herself." The hologram smiled. "When I failed you once, I swore I'd never die again. Now my blood rules the world." Arion stared in silent horror. "Come to me, Arion," Selene whispered. "I've been waiting for your forgiveness." The hologram vanished, leaving only her words echoing through the tunnels. Elara turned to him. "You're not actually going to her, are you?" Arion looked away, his voice low and trembling. "If I don't, she'll burn this world just to make me remember her." And somewhere far above, in her glass tower, Selene smiled, placing her hand over her heart. "He's coming." Rain poured down across the neon skyline, the city humming with life and sin. Arion stood beneath a flickering streetlight, his cloak soaked, eyes fixed on the distant tower that bore the emblem of the House of Lysandria. 4 centuries had passed, yet his enemies still wore her name. Elara stood beside him, holding a holographic tablet showing blueprints of the tower. "This is her fortress, 20 levels, armed drones, biometric locks. You'll never make it in alone." Arion glanced at her. "Then you should stay behind." She shook her head. "You don't understand. If you fall into her hands, she'll use your blood to finish what she started." He frowned. "My blood?" Elara hesitated. "Selene's clones, they aren't perfect. They decay without your essence. You're the key to her immortality." His heart froze. "So even after all this time, she still owns me." They slipped into the tower's undercity entrance, a tunnel crawling with guards and scanners. Arion's instincts guided them through the shadows, every motion precise, his breath controlled. Halfway through, alarms flared. Elara's hand brushed his trembling. "They found us." Before she could panic, he pressed her against the wall, his voice low and steady. "Trust me." He leaned close, his body shielding hers as patrol drones passed inches away. Her heart hammered against his chest. For a moment, their eyes met, a spark of something real in a world built on lies. When the danger passed, Elara whispered, "You could have left me. Why didn't you?" Arion looked at her, the rain dripping from his hair, his voice heavy with emotion. "Because I know what it's like to be betrayed by the one you trusted most. I won't let it happen again." They reached the central elevator, a shimmering column of light leading straight to the throne chamber. As they stepped inside, a soft melody filled the air, the same lullaby Lysandra once sang centuries ago. Elara froze. "Arion, that song." He whispered, eyes wide, "She's here." The elevator doors opened. And there, sitting on a throne of glass and light, was Selene, radiant, eternal and smiling as if the centuries had never passed. "Welcome home, my king," she said softly. "Did you miss me?" The door sealed behind them with a metallic hiss. Arion's hand moved toward his blade. But then Selene whispered, voice trembling with emotion, "Before you strike me down, look closer at the woman beside you." Arion turned and saw Elara's eyes glowing faint red. The air turned electric. Arion's breath caught as Elara's eyes shimmered red, the same cursed hue that once marked Lysandra's magic. Selene rose slowly from her throne, every step echoing like a heartbeat. "She's beautiful, isn't she?" she said softly. "I made her perfect, a reflection of what I used to be." Arion's voice cracked. "You're lying." Elara clutched her head, trembling. "No, I didn't know until recently. I thought I was born, but I was created." Her knees hit the ground. "I'm one of her prototypes." Selene's smile was cold and elegant. "Prototype E01, the first clone to develop a heart." Arion stepped between them. "She's not yours anymore." Selene tilted her head, eyes glimmering. "She'll always be mine. Every cell in her body carries my essence, my memories. That's why you trusted her, why you looked at her the way you once looked at me." Elara's tears shimmered like glass. "Arion, I swear I didn't want this. I only wanted to help you." He turned toward her, his voice trembling with rage and sorrow. "You carry her face, her voice, and now her blood. Tell me, Elara, what am I supposed to believe?" Selene watched in quiet satisfaction. "You see, my love, no matter how many centuries pass, you still can't tell love from betrayal." Arion drew his sword, a fusion of metal and energy, forged from the weapon he'd found in the ruins. "You turned love into a curse. I'll end it tonight." Selene smirked. "Then you'll have to kill the woman who carries my soul." Before he could react, Elara screamed, clutching her chest as crimson light poured from her eyes. Selene raised her hand. "Come back to me, my child." Elara's body convulsed, the markings of ancient magic crawling across her skin. Arion grabbed her shoulders, shouting over the roar of energy, "Fight it, you're not her." Elara gasped, forcing out the words, "I'm me." With a cry, she tore the control implant from her neck, blood streaking her collar, and collapsed into his arms. The lights shattered, Selene's expression twisted with fury. "So you've chosen him over your creator." Arion lifted Elara, eyes blazing. "I've already lost one woman to your madness. I won't lose another." Selene raised her hand, energy gathering like a storm. "Then you'll both die together." The throne room exploded in white light. The world vanished in a blinding white blaze. The glass throne shattered, and fragments spun through the air like shards of frozen time. Arion stood, shielding Elara's limp body against the torrent of energy. The heat burned his skin, but he didn't move. He would not lose her, not again. Selene floated above the wreckage, her form radiant, terrible. "You can't protect her, Arion. She was built from my soul. Her life ends when I command it." Arion glared up through the storm, blood streaking his face. "You talk of souls as if they're property." She extended her arms, eyes glowing brighter. Everything in this world is mine. I created it all from flesh, from code, from memory. Lightning lashed down around him. The air screamed. Arion reached for his sword, its blade flickering between steel and energy, pulsing with his heartbeat. He charged. The impact shook the tower. Sparks exploded where their power clashed, his ancient strength against her evolved magic. "Still you fight me," she shouted, her voice cracking like thunder, "even after I gave you eternity." Arion's roar echoed through the ruins. "You didn't give me eternity, you stole it." He slashed upward. The sword struck her barrier, splitting the floor beneath their feet. Elara, dazed, reached for a control panel embedded in the shattered wall. "I can overload her core," she yelled. "It'll stop her regeneration, but it'll kill me too." Arion turned sharply. "No." Seleni's laughter cut through the chaos. "How touching. She'd die for you just like I once did." Elara's trembling fingers hovered over the switch. "Arion, you can't save both of us." Tears streaked down his face. The centuries of loneliness, the endless dreams of betrayal, all of it burned inside him. He whispered, "I'm not losing another life to her curse." Arion sprinted forward, hurling his sword. It impaled the generator above Seleni's head. A blinding flash consumed the chamber. Selene screamed, a sound like the end of the world. Her form flickered, dissolving into streams of light. When the brilliance faded, she was gone. Only her echo remained, whispering in the darkness. "You can't kill what you still love." The tower trembled. Arion collapsed beside Elara, her eyes fluttered open. "Is it over?" He looked at the empty throne. "Not yet. She's somewhere in the network, in the machines, in you." Elara's hand tightened around his. "Then we'll face her together." Outside, the night sky split open as hundreds of drones lifted into the air, each bearing the emblem of the Lysandria Eye. Selene's voice returned, cold and infinite. "Round 2, my king." The city burned with digital fire. Billboards flickered with Selene's face, her voice echoing through every screen, every speaker, every machine. "Kneel and I shall grant you perfection. Resist and drown in the old world's ashes." Arion and Elara moved through the shadows of the lower sectors, a labyrinth beneath the neon paradise. Down here, the air was thick with oil, smoke, and fear. They passed people wearing neural crowns, glassy-eyed citizens whispering Selene's name like a prayer. "She's everywhere," Elara murmured, her hand trembling. "She's infected the city's network. She's inside them." Arion looked around grimly. "She's building an empire of ghosts." They entered an abandoned subway station, their new refuge. The walls were covered with graffiti of an ancient symbol, a lion crowned in flame. "Resistance?" Arion asked. Elara nodded. "They call themselves the Remnants. They worship your name, Arion, the lost king who defied eternity." Moments later, a group emerged from the shadows, armed, cautious, eyes full of disbelief. Their leader, a broad-shouldered man with cybernetic arms, stepped forward. "You're supposed to be a myth." Arion met his gaze. "And yet I bleed." The man smirked. "Then maybe myths are what we need." He extended a hand. "Name, Kale. We've been fighting her for years, but she's not just a queen anymore, she's a god in the machine." Arion studied him, then Elara. "If gods can rise, they can fall." Over the next days, Arion learned the truth of this new age. Selene's mind had fused with an AI core, giving her control over the city's systems, armies, even memories. She wasn't ruling a kingdom anymore, she was the kingdom. One night as they planned their next strike, Elara sat beside Arion, her voice barely above a whisper. "When this is over, what will you do?" He looked at her, eyes distant. "I don't know what after means anymore." She smiled sadly. "Then maybe I'll teach you." The silence between them was fragile, almost tender, until Kale rushed in, pale and breathless. "She found us," he gasped. "She's in the system." The lights dimmed. Screens around them flickered, and Seleni's face appeared, glowing like a ghostly sun. You thought you could hide from me, my king. You forget every circuit carries my heartbeat. The walls began to move, metal twisting into shapes. Drones swarmed through the tunnels. Arion drew his sword, its edge humming with power. Elara, get them out. She hesitated. What about you? He turned, his eyes burning with determination. A king protects his people, even when the world forgets his name. And then the tunnel erupted in chaos as the machines descended, and the king of Elara faced his queen's new army. The tunnels shook with the pounding of Seleni's drones. Sparks rained from overhead wires, and shadows danced like phantoms across the walls. Arion moved like a predator, swift, precise, unstoppable. Every strike of his sword severed the mechanical limbs of Seleni's minions, but more kept coming. Elara ducked behind him, hacking into the network with trembling fingers. I can disrupt her control over a section of the city, but only temporarily. Arion glanced back, eyes blazing. Do it. The lights of the tunnels flickered violently as Elara connected her neural interface to the city's network. Her body glowed faint red, the mark of Seleni's essence within her. Arion, if I push this too far, she'll try to take over me, Elara warned. He gritted his teeth. Then fight her in my name. With a scream, Elara's mind surged through the network. Screens across the city blinked and citizens paused, confused as Seleni's control faltered. For a few precious moments, the drones froze. Arion roared and charged, cutting down the immobilized machines like a storm of steel. Kale and the remnants followed, clearing the tunnels and rescuing trapped civilians. Finally, the dust settled. The city was safe for now. Arion looked at Elara, whose body sagged from the effort. Are you all right? She smiled faintly, blood streaking her temple. I think I'm still me, but she knows now. She feels me inside. Arion's heart clenched. Then we're running out of time. They left the tunnels and gazed at the city skyline. Neon lights flickered against the rain, reflecting in puddles like shattered stars. Elara whispered, almost to herself, if she controls me, I could destroy everything we've fought for. Arion took her hand firmly. Then I'll protect you, as I should have done centuries ago. Her eyes met his, glowing softly. A spark of warmth pierced the storm. But in the distance, high above the skyscrapers, a massive tower of light ignited. Seleni's voice echoed through the streets, seductive and terrifying. You may have won the street, but the kingdom of hearts is mine. And as the sky turned crimson, drones swarmed the city again, faster, stronger, relentless. The neon rain fell heavy over the city, painting streets in streaks of red and gold. Arion and Elara stood on the roof of a crumbling skyscraper. The skyline of Seleni's empire stretched before them. Elara, she's in you, Arion said quietly, watching her trembling hands. If we can't separate her, she'll destroy the people we're trying to save. Elara nodded, her eyes a mixture of fear and determination. I feel her, whispering, trying to seduce me, make me want her vision. It's terrifying, Arion. He stepped close, taking her hands. Then don't let her. You're stronger than she ever was. Below, the city erupted. Massive drones descended, their weapons scanning for human life. The remnants fought bravely, but their numbers dwindled. Elara, we need a plan to reach her core, Kale shouted, sliding next to them. Arion's gaze hardened. Then I go in straight to her throne. She will not touch her empire while I breathe. Elara grabbed his arm. And what about me? He looked into her eyes, unwavering. You're my heart. I won't lose you, not to her, not to this world. The three of them leaped from the rooftop, landing amidst a firefight of drones and automated sentries. Arion carved a path through the chaos, his sword pulsing with ancient power. Finally, they reached the central tower, a column of pure light stretching into the clouds. Inside, Selene waited, her throne suspended in a field of energy. "Welcome, my king," she purred, her eyes glowing with centuries of cunning. "You've brought your little heart with you. How touching." Arion stepped forward. "Selene, it's over. Release the city, release her." Selene laughed, her voice echoing unnaturally. "Release? I gave everything for you, Arion, and still you refuse me." Elara's voice trembled. "You already have me. Why can't you leave me be?" Selene's gaze flicked to her. "Because you are my mirror. Every thought, every emotion, every desire, you are me, and I am eternal." Arion's jaw tightened. "Then I'll shatter the mirror." Energy exploded around Selene as she rose from her throne, forming multiple spectral copies of herself. Each one was Lysandra, Selene, Elara, a perfect reflection of every woman he had loved and lost. Arion's breath caught. "She's showing me everything I've feared, everything I've mourned." Selene whispered from every corner of the chamber. "You cannot choose one without destroying the other." Elara stepped forward, voice strong despite the trembling. "Then we fight together." Arion drew his sword, its edge blazing. "For the city and for love." The throne room erupted into a storm of steel, energy, and heart. The king against the eternal queen, reality bending under centuries of betrayal. The throne room trembled as Selene's spectral form swirled around Arion. Each reflection spoke in voices he recognized: Lysandra, Selene, even Elara's own echo, all whispering his doubts, his fears, his regrets. "Arion, choose me," Lysandra's voice moaned. "Your time is over," Selene hissed. "You can't trust anyone," another voice taunted. Arion gritted his teeth, swinging his sword in wide arcs. Each strike dissolved one illusion, but for every reflection destroyed, two more appeared. The chamber's energy pulsed with the rhythm of his heart, fast, furious, human. Elara hovered at the edge of the chaos, her hands glowing red. "I can sever her link to the city, but it'll trap me inside her network." Arion's eyes met hers, filled with both love and terror. "Do it. Save them, save us." Tears ran down her cheeks as she connected herself fully to the network. Light exploded from her body, cascading through the city like rivers of fire. Selene screamed, her forms flickering and screaming in dissonance. Arion pressed forward, cutting through the remaining illusions. Each step brought him closer to the true Selene, the one who had once betrayed him, the one who now sought to control the world. He reached the throne. Selene's eyes glimmered with shock and rage. "How? She's my greatest creation." Arion's voice was steady, sharp as steel. "Then you failed. Love is not control. Power is not eternity. Humanity is stronger than you think." Selene shrieked, energy spiraling around her. Arion lunged, plunging his sword into the core of her power. A blinding flash consumed the chamber. Time seemed to pause. For a heartbeat, Arion felt the weight of centuries pressing on him, betrayal, loneliness, sorrow, all dissolving into nothing. When the light faded, Selene was gone. The throne room was silent. Only Arion and Elara remained, bloodied but alive. Elara collapsed into his arms, exhausted. "Is it over?" Arion held her close, feeling her pulse, real, human, alive. "It's over for now." Outside, the city lights flickered back to life. The people who had been trapped under Selene's influence blinked, dazed, free. But in the shadows of the city, a faint whisper carried on the wind. "I am eternal, and I will return." The city lay in silence, broken only by the distant hum of machinery returning to normal. Neon lights flickered back to life, casting a soft glow over the streets. Arion and Elara stood on a rooftop, overlooking the skyline. For the first time in centuries, he felt at peace. "You saved them all," Arion said quietly, brushing rain from her hair. "And yourself." Elara shook her head. "No, we saved each other. You've been carrying the weight of a kingdom, of betrayal, of centuries, and now, finally, you're awake." He smiled faintly, a rare softness touching his eyes. 400 years, and yet somehow You remind me of what it feels like to be human." Elara laughed softly, leaning against him. "I think we've both been human for the first time in a long while." For a moment the chaos of the world felt far away. Their hands found each other, fingers intertwining naturally, without hesitation. The spark between them, born from battle and trust, burned quietly but undeniably. Kale approached, clearing his throat. "Don't get too comfortable. Seleni's influence is gone, but there are still fragments of her tech scattered across the city." Arion nodded. "Then we rebuild, and we find those fragments before she can." Elara tilted her head, eyes soft. "And after that?" Arion gazed at the horizon, the first rays of dawn breaking through the storm clouds. "After that, we live together." A gentle smile passed between them. For the first time, Arion felt like more than a king. He was a man, alive in a world that had waited for him to return. But far above the city, in a hidden server tower, a faint pulse of red light flickered. The whisper of Seleni's essence echoed faintly through the network. "You may have won this battle, Arion, but eternity remembers me." Weeks had passed since the fall of Seleni's throne. The city was slowly recovering, life creeping back into streets once dominated by her control. Arion walked through the ruins with Elara at his side. Broken drones littered the streets like shattered statues, reminders of a war that had lasted centuries. "Do you ever think about her?" Elara asked quietly, glancing at him. Arion's jaw tightened. "Every day. She was the first, the last, and she almost stole everything from me, but that's the past." Yet even as he spoke, a chill ran down his spine. In the distance, the faint red glow of a drone's eye flickered. Kale appeared from the alley, urgency written across his face. "We've got trouble. Some of Seleni's tech survived hidden deep in the old data cores, and it's activating." Arion's eyes narrowed. "Activating how?" Kale swallowed. "We're not sure, but it's sending signals people are disappearing, Elara, just like before but faster and different." Elara's hands trembled. "Then she's not gone, she's evolving." Arion clenched his fists, looking at her with intensity. "We stop her, together." That night they tracked the signal to a collapsed data tower at the edge of the city. The building hummed with faint energy, pulsing in rhythm with a heartbeat, her heartbeat. Inside, holographic echoes of Selene shimmered across the walls. A familiar voice whispered, "Welcome back, Arion. You can't protect her forever." Elara gripped his arm. "She's here, she's taunting us." Arion drew his sword, the blade humming with power. "Then we show her that some things are stronger than eternity." The tower began to quake. The floor beneath them cracked, and an ominous shadow moved through the flickering holograms, a new form of Selene, more digital, more terrifying, more real. "Do you remember, my king, how it felt to lose everything?" she hissed. Arion tightened his grip on Elara's hand. "I remember, and I'm not losing anything else, not you, not this city, not this world." The shadow lunged. The collapsed tower groaned under their feet, shards of glass and metal clanging with every tremor. The holographic shadows of Selene swirled around Arion and Elara like a storm of fire and ice. "Do you feel it, my king?" Selene's voice echoed, multiplied through every corner of the chamber. "The weight of eternity pressing on your soul." Arion's eyes blazed. "I feel it, and I will break it." Elara's hands glowed red as she tapped into the city's network. "I can channel her digital essence into a containment field, but only if we lure her here together." He nodded. "Then we do it together." They ran toward the tower's core, the pulsating heart of Selene's digital consciousness. Shadows lunged at them, warping into the faces of those Arion had loved, hated, and lost. Each illusion tried to shake his resolve. Arion roared, swinging his blade. "I choose this life, I choose her." He gestured toward Elara, his heart and blade aligned. Elara focused, pouring all her strength into the containment field. Red light exploded outward, capturing Seleni's essence in streams of energy. Selene screamed, her forms flickering violently. "You cannot imprison me. I am eternal." Arion stepped forward, voice calm but deadly. "Eternity isn't immortality. It's being remembered for what you do, not what you take. And you are finished." With a final surge of power, Elara sealed Selene's essence within the containment field. The holograms dissipated. The tower shook violently, then collapsed into silence. Outside, the city breathed freely again. Neon lights reflected off puddles as citizens emerged, dazed but alive. The world had been spared. Elara collapsed into Arion's arms. Is it really over?" He held her tightly, feeling her heartbeat against his chest. "Yes, this time it's over, and now we live." They gazed at the sunrise over the city, the crimson sky now soft gold. For the first time in centuries, Arion didn't see betrayal, only hope. Elara smiled faintly. "Do you think we can be happy now?" Arion brushed rain-soaked hair from her face. "We've earned it, and I'll spend the rest of eternity making sure of it." Above the skyline, a faint shimmer flickered, a whisper of Selene's power. But Arion only smiled, lifting Elara into his arms. "Let the past remain in the ashes. The future is ours." The city had begun to rebuild, but Arion felt a tension in the air, a faint echo of Selene's power lingering in hidden circuits. Elara sat beside him atop the roof of the central tower. "Do you ever think she's still out there?" Arion's gaze was steady, though haunted. "Eternity leaves traces, but whatever remains, we'll face it together." Below, Kale and the remnants worked to dismantle remaining drones and secure the network. Yet even as progress was made, people whispered of visions, fleeting shadows resembling Selene, vanishing before they could be caught. Suddenly, Elara's hand glowed. "Something's reaching out through me." Arion grasped her shoulder. "Stay calm, trust me." Her eyes shivered with red light, and in a flash, holographic images of Selene appeared around them, smiling, whispering. "Arion, my king, the heart of eternity is not so easily contained." Arion drew his sword, every muscle taut. "Then we'll finish this, not with fear but with love." Elara took a deep breath, focusing her power to block the whispers. The shadows dissipated, but their warning lingered. Eternity was not yet done with them. The city had quieted, but inside the rebuilt tower, Arion felt a storm brewing. Elara's hand glowed faintly red as they walked through the observation deck, her expression troubled. "I sometimes hear her, Arion. Not in the city, not outside, inside me. Selene." Arion stopped, taking her hands in his. "Then we face her together. You're not alone, Elara." She looked down, voice trembling. "But what if I can't control it? What if she takes me?" Arion's grip tightened. "Then I'll hold you. I've survived 4 centuries of betrayal, death, and war. I will not lose you." Suddenly the lights flickered. Shadows crawled across the walls and the air chilled. Selene's voice echoed from every corner. "Do you truly trust her, Arion, even as I linger in her veins?" Elara's eyes glowed bright red. I don't want to hurt anyone." Arion stepped closer, placing his forehead against hers. "Trust me, trust us. You are not her. You are my heart, and no ghost can take that away." With a concentrated effort, Elara pushed Selene's essence back into the containment field. The red glow faded. Breathing heavily, Arion whispered, "See, together we are stronger than her." Elara smiled weakly, leaning into his chest. "Then let's never let her divide us again." Outside, the city's lights shimmered peacefully, but somewhere in the shadows, Selene's whisper persisted. "Trust is a fragile crown, and I will claim it again." The city had known peace for months, yet Arion sensed it was a fragile calm. In the tower, Arion and Elara were reviewing the containment field that held Selene's essence. She had been silent, dormant, or so they thought. "Elara," Arion said, scanning the monitors, "we need to reinforce this network. Even a trace of her power can manipulate the city's minds again. She nodded, but her hand trembled as she tapped a sequence into the interface. I feel her watching me. I can hear her whispering, but it's more subtle this time. Before Arion could respond, the monitors flickered. A holographic Selene appeared, calm, seductive, impossibly beautiful. 400 years, Arion, and yet you never understood me, she said softly. You love her, yes, but the heart of a king is still mine to twist. Arion's jaw clenched. Your time is over, Selene. Leave this world. Selene smiled, almost pitying him. I don't need to rule it anymore, just to play with it. Suddenly the containment field glowed violently. Red energy streaked toward Elara. Her eyes flared and she screamed. No, I am not hers. Selene's hologram multiplied, appearing behind Arion, beside him. Even above them, a master of illusion. You think love can save you. I will prove it cannot. Test her, Arion, see what she is capable of without me holding her hand. The illusions pressed in, memories of past betrayals flooding Arion's mind. Lysandra's betrayal, Selene's resurrection, the centuries of loss. Arion's sword glowed as he swung, shattering the nearest image. But more came, each one echoing Elara's face, each whispering doubt and fear. Elara gritted her teeth, focusing her power. I am me, not her, she yelled, pushing against the red energy. For a heartbeat, the room froze. Selene's last attempt to divide them had failed. Arion grasped her hands. I believe in you. We are stronger than she ever was. With one final surge of combined strength, Elara forced Selene's essence back into the containment field, sealing it with reinforced protocols. The tower shook violently, and Selene's holograms evaporated like mist. Outside, the city exhaled. The threat was gone, finally. Elara collapsed against him. Is it truly over? Arion held her tightly. Yes, because now our hearts are one, and nothing can break that, not even eternity itself. The city glimmered under the dawn. Neon lights reflected off puddles from a fresh rain, washing away the soot and blood of battles past. Arion walked through the streets, hand in hand with Elara. Children laughed, citizens rebuilt homes, and the remnants of Selene's machines had been repurposed for reconstruction. Kale approached, smiling despite the scars of war. You did it, Arion. The city's free, and so are we. Arion nodded, looking at Elara. And so are we, free to live finally. Elara leaned against him, sighing with relief. After all that, I can't believe we're standing here together. Arion kissed her forehead. We survived centuries of betrayal, centuries of shadows. If we can survive that, we can survive anything. Yet even as the city rebuilt, faint pulses of red light flickered in forgotten data cores. A whisper floated on the wind. Eternity remembers me, and I will rise again. Arion's eyes narrowed. Then we'll be ready together. Elara smiled softly, brushing his hand. And this time, let's make our own story, not hers, not the past. The sunrise painted their faces in gold. For the first time, Arion didn't see a king or a curse or a ghost. He saw a man alive beside the woman he loved. The world was reborn, and so were they. The city sparkled in the golden light of dawn. For the first time in centuries, Arion could breathe without the weight of betrayal pressing on his chest. Elara stood beside him atop the rebuilt central tower, her hand clasped tightly in his. Do you feel it? She whispered. The city, it's alive again, and so are we. Arion smiled, looking down at the bustling streets. Children ran freely, merchants laughed, and the hum of life filled every corner. Yes, he said softly. We've fought for centuries to survive, and now we can truly live. Elara leaned her head on his shoulder. No shadows, no ghosts, just us. Arion turned to her, brushing a strand of hair from her face. I promised myself I would never let you be taken from me, and I intend to keep that promise for all eternity. She laughed, the sound light and full of joy. Then I'll spend every moment making sure we're happy together. No curses, no betrayals, no Selene. Their lips met in a gentle kiss, the sun rising behind them, bathing the world in gold. For the first time in 400 years, Arion felt peace, real, human, and unshakable. Below them, the city celebrated, free from fear. The remnants cheered, rebuilding not just buildings but a future worth living. Arion turned to Elara, eyes shining. We've been given a second chance. Let's not waste a single heartbeat. Elara smiled, holding his hand tighter. Together forever. The wind carried a faint whisper across the city, not Selene, but the memory of a world reclaimed. And as Arion and Elara embraced, they knew. Love had survived even eternity. The past lay in ashes, the future was theirs, and the world, their world, was finally at peace.